Hello and welcome to this edition of Success Gyan's podcast. I am Sawan Kapoor, India's leading career coach, and today we are going to talk about the art and science of interviewing. See, the two most important questions you want to understand the answers to in the interviewing process are one, can you solve the company's problems? And two, do you want to solve the company's problems? Not only do you want to understand the answers to these questions, even the company that is interviewing you fundamentally wants to understand the answers to these same two questions. Can you, as a candidate, solve their problems, and do you want to solve their problems? If you examine the nature of these questions, you will realize that the first question, which is can you solve their problems, this is a question where your competence is being evaluated. This question is all about your skills, your talents, your educational credentials, your past experiences, your knowledge base, and your personal qualities. It is a question that helps you understand if you have the requisite capabilities needed to solve the problems the company is facing. And it helps the company understand if you will be able to deliver the results for which they are interviewing you. The second question is, do you want to solve their problems? And this is a question of culture. Is the job just going to be a meaningless association for you, or do you really want to belong in the company that you are interviewing with? You will only want to belong in that company if you have the right culture and are working in an environment where you respect and enjoy the people that you are working with. You cannot love your job and hate your salary, and you cannot hate your job but love your salary. Both of these situations are not sustainable. To be able to grow your career, you have to work with people that you like and respect, and the organizational's value system must have a strong alignment with your value system. So, the answer to this question helps them understand how much you want to belong and the cultural fit that you will have in that company. With this context in mind, learning how to get just a little bit better at job interviews is one of the best value things that you can do for yourself. For the amount of time you have to invest in this key skill, it has a lot better payback than many other distractions that land up being a waste of your time. And despite this, most people spend more time preparing their dinner than they do preparing for an interview. Maybe they are scared knowing that there is so much at risk. See, fear often creeps in whenever the stakes are high, closely followed by procrastination, resulting in many candidates feeling about the interview preparations as people feel scared of phobias. The truth is that almost everybody procrastinates about job interviews, which means there is actually less competition for you if you look at it strategically. Employers rarely complain about too many great performing interviewees to choose from. So, for those people who put in the little extra effort and work harder than the rest, success at interviews is there for the taking. The best preparations to interviews consists of finding heartfelt and useful answers to certain key questions. And there aren't so many questions that they cannot be mastered by the average working professional in a fairly brief amount of time, like a week at most. I believe that even the most thorny and exotic questions are just permutations of a tiny superset of key questions. Get good at these key questions, and all the other questions will take care of themselves at interviews. In fact, there are six categories of questions. The first one is classic questions. Now, these are the most commonly asked questions. These are designed to get to know the real you. The second category is career goal questions, and these are used to determine fit with the organization. These questions test critically the desire to belong. The third category of questions is character questions. Now, character is destiny, the single most important variable for success in life, and that is what is being tested here. The fourth category is competency questions, used to determine if you are actually capable of performing in the job. The fifth category is creativity questions. See, the world of business is dynamic, and these questions test if you can keep up. The sixth category is curveball questions or spinball questions. Often the journey is more important than the destination. So these questions test your process. Employers and recruiters do this for a living. They have mastered the art of finding out your underlying motivations, such as what are you really after? What drives you? Your mindset, your work ethic, your long term and leadership potential, and much, much more. The goal here is to help you decode their hidden perspective. So please understand, when I work with students, I take them through 111 different questions through these six categories. For each question, we decode the question, what is really being asked and what is not being asked. So please understand that interviewing is something that can be mastered in a fairly short amount of time. But you need to prepare, you need to practice and improve your answers to these questions. Like they say, if you can drive in a country like India where the roads can be chaotic and driving can be full of potholes, then actually operating a motor vehicle in a country where the laws are followed is relatively easier. In addition, to ensure that your answers land for sincere impact, only practice will allow for the comfort you are expected to develop with the interview process as a whole. Everything you have done so far has been gearing you up for this one decisive moment. Learn to recognize your big moment, and you will be on the other side of the door. You would have unlocked the opportunity and secured the job offer if you know how to crack the interview. The risk and time and effort as well involved from both parties, the company and the candidate, is the same. The interviewer is risking time and effort, not to mention the cost of falling behind on the work that needs to be done by this role that they are hiring for, whereas the interviewee is risking their time and the missed earnings of not being in a job possibly. So both the potential employer and the potential employee face short term risk as well as long term risk. Being able to appreciate both sides of this equation is important to coming across as an impactful and sincere candidate who gives respect first and expects respect by virtue of that giving. Giver's gain is a mantra that serves interviewees rather well. The art and science of interviewing really well is marketing the rock solid product that you have become over the course of your career. All the hardships, the successes, the failures, the learnings, and the accomplishments, they came for a reason. And an interview is an opportunity to show that magic to someone who can make a big difference. I hope you enjoyed this podcast and got value from it. I look forward to seeing you in the next episode.